Fed up of wardrobes, driven to distraction and drowning with doom boxes? Tired of living in chaos? Welcome to Decluttering Untangled, how to declutter when you're overwhelmed, ADHD or autistic. I'm going to help you uncover the secrets to decluttering no matter what hurdles you face. You'll discover how to declutter, de-stress and transform your world. I'm Heather Tingle, reformed hoarder, neurodivergent declutter queen and your guide through the maze of mess. Let's get untangled. Hello Untanglers and welcome back to another episode of Decluttering Untangled with me, your host Heather Tingle. So today's episode is for anyone who has ever spent a whole afternoon decluttering, sat back at the end of it, looked around the room and thought, what was the point? Because the room looks basically the same. You're tired, you've got nothing to show for it, and that feeling is genuinely it's so demoralising. So this episode is about why that feeling is lying to you. Because it's one of the most common things I hear from clients, both ones I work with in person and the ones in the community and our Untangled Life membership. So they've put in the time, they've sat down and done the thing and they've gone through the stuff. And at the end of it, they feel like they've got absolutely nothing to show for it, apart from feeling tired and probably having a headache. So that feeling makes people want to stop, and it makes them wonder what is it they're doing wrong, or if the situation is somehow worse than everybody else's, or if decluttering just doesn't work for them and they're never going to make it. So if that sounds familiar, I really want you to listen to this episode, because by the end of it, I really hope you can look at decluttering sessions in a different way, or rather the end of your decluttering sessions in a different way. And I think we're wired to measure progress by what we can see. So a cleared surface, an empty shelf, a room that looks noticeably different from how it looked before you started, those before and after transformations. So I think the decluttering world and social media does not help with this, because social media is full of those dramatic befores and afters. I know I used to look at them and think, look at the before photo and look at the after photo, isn't it amazing? And wouldn't it be great if my house did that? And yes, taking photos can be a really useful indication for you. But what happens when you take a photo and it doesn't really look that much different after? So things like TV shows show those, again, quick, amazing transformations, rooms that go from absolute chaos and to calm and organised in a single reel or a single post or a single episode. And it feels really satisfying seeing them. Perfectly labelled shelves, all that prettiness. But when your own decluttering session doesn't produce that, it can feel like a bit of a failure, and it feels like you did it wrong, or you didn't do enough, or you're somehow behind where you should be. And I always say it's a lot like the snowball, is that you'll look like you're going uphill, and there will become a point where it all just starts to click into place and it gets so much easier. So you just got to keep at it, because the real reality is that visible dramatic results only happen at a certain stage of the process, and that is usually quite far along. So you just got to keep going. Now, getting there does require an enormous amount of work. It does. There's no getting around it. And a lot of the time, from the outside looking in, it's difficult to see. So you've got to zone stuff, you've got to maybe do a first sift, and then you've got to full on decision make. And it only becomes a certain point in the process where you're getting towards, 3/4 of the way through the decision making progress in your house, where it all clicked, and you then see the massive visible results. You'll see little pockets maybe on the way which keep you going, but it's only really when you get 3/4 through that you can see it. So a really good example really of what I'm talking about and what I've seen with a couple of clients recently is when we're going through paper. So paper decisions like letters and envelopes and all that kind of stuff. So paper's a really good example. So for example, you might take it from a doom box or a bag and then put it all together in one box. This is what I always tell my clients to do. Get it all together first. You can then spend hours on one massive jumbled box of paperwork. It can take you ages, because you've got to go through every single piece. You've got to look for dates or what it is. You've got to comprehend what it is, and then you've got to decide on it. So you're making decision after decision after decision. And at the end of it, the room looks exactly the same apart from that one box. And actually that box might even still be there, just might have got fewer bits in it. That does not mean that nothing happened. Not even close. And actually, if you've seen any of my social media, you might have seen me when I was doing my paper and I got 17 archive boxes of paperwork to go through. and there's a photo of the 17 boxes of paperwork, and then there's a photo of a load of papers in piles on my floor, and I'm like, this is actually going to kill me. Like, this is taking forever, because it does. It takes a long time. But it's not just paper that does this. It's all sorts of things. So I want you to think of things in a different way to measure your progress. I want you to think of progress markers as something different than what you see. Because decluttering is decision making. That's its whole job. Every single item requires a decision, and sometimes more than one, let's face it. Like, is it staying? Is it going? If it stays, where does it live? Is it in the right room? Does it serve a purpose? Am I going to put it in donate, recycle, like bin? Like, what is it? Do I love it? Million questions, every single item, every single time. So let's go back to that box of paper as an example. So a box of paper is not one thing. It's really great to reduce visual clutter if it is in one box, because then you see one thing rather than like 500 things. So it might be 500 things in that box, or it might be 1,000 things. There might be lots of things like bank statements, every letter, instruction manual, birthday card, every random receipt you kept for a reason that you now can't remember. And every one of those is a separate decision. Now, if you sat down and worked through that box and made a call on every single like piece of paper, you've probably made 500 decisions, or 1,000, whatever number was in the box. That is not nothing. That is an enormous amount of mental work, so much more than you ever normally do in a day, above and beyond what you normally do. That is what decluttering requires to happen. And the fact that it doesn't look dramatic from the outside does not change what you actually did and how much progress you made in that session. So what I would like you to ask yourself, the question to ask after a decluttering session is not, how does the room look now? Hopefully no worse than what you started. But the question I want you to ask is, how many permanent decisions did I make today? Permanent decisions, not I'll think about this later, not I'll put this one aside for now, not I'm not sure, but actual decisions made, done, not needing to be revisited. That number is a real measure of your progress. So if visual room changes are not a reliable measure of progress, that's one. So it's two things. How many permanent decisions did you make? Decisions that are finished, done, not going back to them, that's progress. Use that as a measure. How many decisions did I make today? So it might be, how many items did I touch today to make a decision on? The second one is also really important, and I love this one. What is leaving your home? Every single item that leaves is a decision that is completely finished. Well done. It will never come back to the pile. It is not needed to be decided on again of where it's going to live or where it's going to go or anything like that. It is decided on. It is gone, and that space and that mental load has gone with it. Amazing. That's why I love to ask clients, what did you let go of today? Now, if you've only got a few, if you've got a handful of pieces of paper, it might not look like much, but if you look at how many pieces of paper is actually going, might be 50, might be 100. That's 100 items that are leaving your house, never to return. Well done. It might not be paper, but it might be other things. And that's why I like the Master Tracker. It's a bit of a plug, really sorry, but I'm not sorry. The Master Tracker in my Declutter Your Home Planner is so useful. You colour in a bag every time a bag leaves your home so you can visually see the progress you are really making, because it really does add up quick and it keeps you motivated to keep going. So they're the two things that are actual indicators of progress, not the state of the room, not how it looks in a photo. If decisions are being made and things are leaving, you are making progress. That is it. The transformation you are imagining does happen though. You will get there. The room that looks different, the space that feels calm, the before and after of what you actually want to take a photo of, that will come. But it comes after the majority of the decisions are done. You're probably just in the beginning or middle of it. Keep going. You can't just skip to the pretty bit and the satisfying bit. Yeah, the satisfying bit is the reward for all the invisible work, like the zoning and the deciding that you do first. So if you're in the paper stage or the sentimental item stage, or you're dealing with the little bitty bits, or any category that is heavy on decisions and light on obvious visual results, stay with it, because you are doing the hardest part. That is the part that makes everything else that follows possible. So every decision you make is a step forward. Okay, so just to recap, visual progress is not always a reliable measure on what you are actually achieving. Decluttering is decision making, and some categories, especially things like paper or bitty bits at the bottom of a bag of doom, are hundreds of individual decisions that take real time and real mental energy. So after your next session, instead of looking at the room and asking how much better it looks, ask yourself, how many permanent decisions did you make today and how many items have left your home? Those two things are the real indicators of progress. The visual transformation, I promise you, and I can't promise you enough, this will happen. Just keep at it. So if this episode has helped, come and share in my Untangled community on Facebook. Tell us how many decisions you made today. I will be just as proud of your 25, 50, 500 paper decisions as we are of the before and after photos, because we know, those of us that are in this community, get how much work it actually takes. This is real life that we live with. So until next time, remember, you're not alone. Be kind to yourself and keep untangling. Thanks for joining me for today's episode of Decluttering Untangled. If you found anything that I've said today helpful, please do me a favour, hit that subscribe button or leave me a review. It's like receiving a virtual high five that keeps me going and lets me know that I'm helping real people out there and I'm making a difference. Please remember, you're not alone in this. I'm building a community of fellow untanglers over on Facebook. Just visit the show notes for the link to my free decluttering community. So until next time, remember, you're not alone, you're not lazy, you can untangle your life.